on your batteries. Check. Emergency center. Check. Store up your water. Check. And board up your window. Check. So you got to place it. Check. Before it is too late. Check. Disaster could happen anytime, any place.
Welcome to From Danger to Safety, the official disaster preparedness program from the National Emergency Management Agency, Nema. This show is proudly brought to you by our sponsor, National Caribbean Insurance. Stay with us as we move from danger to safety.
Trust in NCI, come to NCI, protect with NCI, only NCI. Always here for you, always. NCI is here for you, always. Whole life, term life for your peace. Healthcare, health plans, no worries. Home shield coverage, you're safe. Choose NCI to secure your space. Life challenges will come your way, but NCI brightens your day. Through your life's journey, we're here to stay. NCI will protect you all the way. Whole life, term life for your peace. Healthcare, health plans, no worries. Home shield coverage, you're safe. Choose NCI to secure your space. Trust in NCI, come to NCI, protect with NCI, only NCI. Always here for you, always. NCI is here for you, always.
As we navigate through the peak of the hurricane season, our focus today is on a silent hazard running concurrently with our weather systems, the ongoing and severe drought affecting our federation. To provide essential context for today's discussion, we begin with an excerpt from a national press conference held by Nema in June, featuring Senior Meteorological Officer Elmo Burke. He outlines the alarming rainfall figures recorded up to May, detailing just how significantly below average our current rainfall totals are.
As we know, St. Kitts and Nevis, similar to other Caribbean countries, have been facing impacts of drought for the past few months to varying degrees. We here in St. Kitts and Nevis, based on the rainfall totals observed at the RLB airport up to the end of May, we would have seen a reduction of 6.84 inches compared to our climatology or our long-term average of 15.5 inches. Again, I said we have seen a reduction of 6.84 inches when compared to 15.5 inches by this time of the year. That is, we have received only 8.66 inches of rainfall by the end of May, when we normally should have received the 15 inches that I spoke about earlier.
That was Elmo Burke, Senior Meteorological Officer, breaking down the hard data behind our current water deficit. To explore these numbers, the science behind them, and what they mean for our islands in greater detail, we now move to our main feature. We are joined by Vincere Benjamin, Level 1 Meteorological Technician at the St. Kitts Meteorological Services.
I'm Vincere Benjamin from the St. Kitts Met Services. I am a Level 1 Meteorological Technician, and I also practice climatology here at the Met Office. St. Kitts and Nevis is located within the tropical climate zone, where our weather is characterized by two main seasons, the dry season and the wet season. Based on our long-term climate records, the dry season generally extends from December to May, while the wet season runs from June to November. The wet season coincides with the Atlantic hurricane season, when tropical waves, storms, and hurricanes contribute to the majority of our annual rainfall. During the dry season, rainfall is typically much lower, while the wet season normally replenishes our water resources and supports agriculture and our natural vegetations. Although we are currently in the wet season, conditions have remained unusually dry. From January to June, the Federation received approximately 234 millimeters of rainfall, which is about 50% below the long-term average for this period. And this data is recorded from the airport station. So the effects are visible across the country. Instead of a lush green vegetation that we typically expect at this time of the year, many areas are brown and dusty due to the prolonged lack of rainfall. The dry conditions are being influenced by the El Niño pattern, which suppresses rainfall, along with the frequent Saharan dust intrusion. These patterns limit cloud development and rainfall. The current regional outlooks indicate that rainfall may remain below normal through much of the remainder of the wet season. So drought conditions are expected to continue unless we receive significant rainfall from the tropical systems. A drought is a prolonged period of below normal rainfall that results in water shortages and impacts on the environment, agriculture, and water resources. At the St. Kitts Meteorological Service, we monitor daily rainfall throughout our observational network and compare current rainfall totals with historical averages. We also use climate indicators such as the Standardized Precipitation Index to assess the severity and duration of our rainfall deficits. Our annual rainfall data clearly indicates that rainfall across St. Kitts and Nevis has remained well below normal for several months, confirming that the Federation is experiencing drought conditions. The data shows that the rainfall has been significantly below average throughout the year. As of the end of June, we recorded about 234 millimeters of rainfall. For last year, we recorded 396 millimeters, whereas normally we would receive over 400 millimeters by this point in the year. This prolonged shortage of rainfall is why we are seeing a worsening drought conditions across the Federation. So the Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, this is a regional forum that brings together meteorologists and climatologists from around the Caribbean. We have monthly meetings, and here we have discussions on the climate outlooks, which are calculated experiments from local climate data, sea surface temperatures, and climate variabilities using a Caragen tool. This is a climate outlook generator tool. The climate conditions are then analyzed and discussed. These outlooks are shared with disaster managers, water resource managers, agriculture specialists, health officials, and other expert stakeholders locally and regionally. This forum is coordinated by the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, CIMH, with the aim of reducing disasters through early warning. So yes, we do receive forecasts from CARICOF. CARICOF issues drought alerts monthly. These alerts can include drought watches, warnings, and drought emergency alerts. A drought watch means that conditions are becoming favorable for drought development, and people should begin to prepare for the possibility of water shortages. A drought warning means that drought conditions are developing or are already occurring with measurable rainfall deficits and increasing impacts. A drought emergency is the highest level of concern. It indicates severe and widespread drought conditions requiring immediate action to protect water supplies, agriculture, and other critical sectors. For St. Kitts and Nevis, CARICOF's latest outlook indicates that a short-term drought warning should be considered through to September, based on the 6-month Standardized Precipitation Index. In addition, a long-term drought warning remains in effect through to November, based on the 12-month rainfall deficit. Previously, a drought emergency was considered for St. Kitts and Nevis due to the potential severe rainfall shortages in the early part of the hurricane season. Drought impacts extend well beyond the rainfall statistic. In the short term, reduced rainfall lowers soil moisture, placing crops under stress, reducing agricultural productions, and limiting pasture availability for livestock. Vegetation also becomes much drier, which increases bushfires. For drought conditions that persist over a longer period, groundwater supplies, reservoirs, and other water resources can also be affected, placing greater pressure on our country's water supplies. While rainfall associated with the tropical systems could provide some relief, sustained and widespread rainfall will be needed before drought conditions are fully improved. In the meantime, water conservation remains extremely important, and the public is encouraged to use water responsibly while we continue to closely monitor conditions and keep you updated. So this is a measuring cylinder. Here's our rain gauge. Normally, if we had rainfall, we would be measuring. There is no rainfall. It's dry. Look at the environment.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of From Danger to Safety. Thank you for tuning in to this week's program. In this episode, we heard from Elmo Burke, Senior Meteorological Officer, regarding the official meteorological data and drivers behind our current dry spell, followed by comprehensive insights from Vincere Benjamin, Level 1 Meteorological Technician at the St. Kitts Meteorological Services, detailing the local impacts and forecasts. This program was proudly sponsored by National Caribbean Insurance. From Danger to Safety is aired every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on ZIZ Radio and television, with a rebroadcast on television at 8 p.m. It is also available on Nema's YouTube channel and Facebook page. For more information on disaster preparedness, follow us on our social media channels by looking for Nema SKN. Join us again next week.
So you got to play safe before it is too late. Disaster could happen anytime, any place. In the sun or in the rain, life's a journey, joy and pain. But NCI's here day and night, always here for you, making it right. Always here for you. With NCI you've got a friend, always here for you, right here till the very
At National Caribbean Insurance, you are covered and secure. We're your partner, your protector, your peace of mind. So for home, for health, for life, choose NCI because we're always here for you. Always.
Always here for you. With NCI